From the time of Abraham, the land of Canaan held a special place in the hearts of the Israelites. It was more than just a piece of land, it was a symbol of hope, a beacon of God's promise to his people. The stories of their ancestors, the tales of faith and perseverance, all pointed to this land as their ultimate destination. It was a land promised to them by God, a divine gift that signified a new beginning. This promise was not just a fleeting word, but a covenant, a sacred agreement that spanned generations. A land flowing with milk and honey, a phrase that evoked images of abundance and prosperity. It was a place where the Israelites could envision a future filled with plenty, where their children could grow up in peace and security. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, enduring hardships and trials, the Israelites were finally on the verge of claiming their inheritance. Their journey had been long and arduous, filled with moments of doubt and faith. But now they stood on the brink of a new chapter. The book of Numbers, chapter 34, lays out the boundaries of this promised land, detailing the borders that would define their new home. These boundaries were not just lines on a map, they were the framework for their future society. This division, orchestrated by God himself, was not just about geography, it was about identity, destiny, and the fulfillment of a sacred covenant. Each boundary, each division, was a testament to God's meticulous plan for his people. For the Israelites, this land represented more than just a physical territory. It was a place where they could build their homes, cultivate their fields, and establish their communities. It was a land where they could finally put down roots and create a legacy for future generations. It was a place of belonging, a place where they could establish their nation and worship their God freely. The land was intertwined with their spiritual identity, a place where they could practice their faith without fear. It was a land where their hopes and dreams, passed down through generations, would finally take root. The stories of their ancestors, the promises made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all converged in this land. The specific boundaries outlined in Numbers 34 weren't arbitrary. They represented the fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham and his descendants. Each tribe received a portion of the land, a tangible piece of the divine promise. The division of the land, as we will explore, was a meticulous process. Every detail was considered, every boundary stone placed with purpose. This was not just a division of land, but a careful orchestration of God's plan. Every detail, every boundary stone carried immense weight. These markers were not just physical objects, but symbols of God's faithfulness and the Israelites' journey. It was a testament to God's faithfulness to his people and his meticulous plan for their future. The land and its boundaries were a physical manifestation of the covenant between God and the Israelites. The land was to be divided among the 12 tribes of Israel, each receiving a portion of this sacred inheritance. This division was not just about land, but about fulfilling a divine promise. The boundaries and the subsequent division of Canaan weren't merely historical footnotes. They were the foundation upon which the Israelites would build their society, their culture, and their future. They were fundamental to the Israelites' sense of self and their covenant with God. These boundaries were a constant reminder of their unique identity and their special relationship with the divine. These geographical demarcations served as a constant reminder of their unique identity as God's chosen people, entrusted with a specific land and a divine purpose. The land of Canaan was not just a destination, but a destiny, a place where the Israelites could fulfill their God-given purpose and live out their faith in a tangible way. The southern boundary of the Promised Land is described in detail in Numbers 34. This passage provides a meticulous account of the borders that were to define the territory of the Israelites, ensuring clarity and precision in their new homeland. It began in the south at the wilderness of Zin. This vast arid expanse was a place of both challenge and significance, marking the starting point of the southern boundary. This unforgiving desert marked a natural starting point. Its harsh conditions and barren landscape were a testament to the resilience required to traverse and inhabit such a region. From there, the border went up to the south of Kadesh Barnea, an oasis known for its role in the Israelites' earlier wanderings. This oasis, with its life-sustaining water and greenery, was a crucial stop for the Israelites during their 40 years in the wilderness. The border then continued to Hazar Adar, another significant location in the region. Hazar Adar, though less known today, was an important landmark in the ancient world, serving as a waypoint and a marker of the southern boundary. Moving westward, it extended to Asmon, further delineating the southernmost reach of their territory. Asmon's location was strategic, marking the transition from the desert interior to the more fertile coastal regions. It finally reached the Brook of Egypt, which emptied into the Mediterranean Sea, also called the Great Sea. This brook, known today as Wadi El Arish, was a significant geographical feature, providing a natural boundary that was easily recognizable. This southern boundary served as a buffer zone between the Israelites and the land of Egypt. The boundary was not just a line on a map, but a strategic separation from their former oppressors, ensuring a distinct and protected territory. It was a strategic demarcation, ensuring that the Israelites had a clear separation from their former oppressors. The natural features of the land were used to create a boundary that was both defensible and clear. The wilderness, with its harsh conditions, acted as a natural barrier, discouraging incursions and conflicts. The inhospitable nature of the desert made it difficult for any large-scale movement of people or armies, providing a measure of security for the Israelites. The specific locations mentioned, Kadesh Barnea, Hazar Adar, Asmon and the Brook of Egypt, were not chosen randomly. Each of these places had a role in the history and journey of the Israelites, making them significant markers of their new land. Each held historical and geographical significance. These locations were not just points on a map, but were imbued with the stories and experiences of the people who had traveled through and lived in these areas. They served as recognizable landmarks, ensuring a clear and unambiguous border for generations to come. These markers provided a sense of continuity and identity for the Israelites, linking their past wanderings with their new settled life. This southern border, stretching from the wilderness to the sea, represented the first concrete step in defining the Israelites' new homeland. It was a boundary that not only defined their territory, but also symbolized their transition from a nomadic existence to a settled nation. The western boundary of the Promised Land was straightforward, the Mediterranean Sea. This vast expanse of water, known to the Israelites as the Great Sea, formed a natural and imposing border. Numbers 34 describes this boundary as extending from the Brook of Egypt to the Great Sea. This maritime border was significant for several important reasons. It provided the Israelites with access to trade routes and the potential for maritime activity. The Mediterranean Sea was a hub of commerce and cultural exchange in the ancient world. Control over a portion of its coastline positioned the Israelites to engage with these networks. However, the Israelites were not a seafaring people at this point in their history. Their strength lay in agriculture and pastoralism. The sea, while offering opportunities, also presented potential challenges. It could bring invaders and foreign influences. The presence of the Philistines, a seafaring people who occupied the coastal plain, was a constant reminder of the potential threats from the sea. Despite these challenges, the Mediterranean Sea remained a defining characteristic of the Promised Land. Its vastness and beauty made it a fitting western border for the Israelites' inheritance. The northern boundary of the Promised Land, as described in Numbers 34, stretched from the Mediterranean Sea eastward. This vast expanse of water, with its shimmering blue waves, marked the starting point of a significant territorial demarcation for the Israelites. It went up to Mount Hor, a prominent peak in the region. Mount Hor, standing tall and majestic, was not just a geographical feature, but a symbol of the divine promise given to the Israelites. This mountain served as a natural landmark, visible from afar, clearly demarcating the northern extent of their territory. Its imposing presence was a constant reminder of the boundaries set by divine decree. From Mount Hor, the border continued eastward to Lebo Hamath, a city located in modern-day Lebanon. This ancient city, with its rich history and strategic location, played a crucial role in the northern boundary. This inclusion of Lebo Hamath in the boundary description indicates that the Israelites were to possess a significant portion of what was later known as Phoenicia. The region of Phoenicia, renowned for its maritime prowess and vibrant trade, was a valuable addition to the Promised Land. This region was known for its cedar forests and skilled craftsmen. The cedars of Lebanon were highly prized for their quality and durability, making them a sought-after resource for building and trade. The northern boundary then turned southward to Zedad, another important landmark. Zedad, with its rugged terrain and strategic location, was a key point in the delineation of the territory. It continued to Ziphron and finally reached Hazar Enan, marking the northeastern corner of the Promised Land. These locations, though less known today, were significant in the ancient world for their strategic and economic importance. This strategic boundary encompassed fertile lands and key trade routes, highlighting the strategic importance of this region. The fertile soil promised agricultural abundance, while the trade routes ensured economic prosperity. However, maintaining control of this northern border would be a challenge for the Israelites. The rugged terrain and the presence of established city-states meant that the Israelites had to be constantly vigilant. They would face pressure from powerful kingdoms and city-states located to the north. These northern adversaries, with their fortified cities and well-trained armies, posed a significant threat to the fledgling Israelite nation. The history of the Israelites, as recounted in the Bible, is replete with conflicts and struggles to secure this northern frontier. These battles, often fought with great valor and determination, were crucial in shaping the destiny of the Israelite people and their hold over the Promised Land.